Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel Inspo Vibes with SK. Thank you so much for all your likes, your comments, and your subscribes. Truly appreciate it and keep it coming. So, don't forget, before I start today's story, if you like today's story, don't forget to click the like button. And if you have not already subscribed, there's a bell icon at the bottom of the screen. Click that and you'll get all the alerts whenever I post a new story. So today's story is about a very different experience shared by a schoolmate of mine, Samir. So Samir and me go back to college days. We studied together. And then he decided to pursue a career in IT in the US, spent a good amount of time there, made a good name for himself, and just last year decided to come back to India. So when he came back, he went to his village, and this story is about that experience he had in the village, which he shared with me on phone. Oh, it touched my heart, and I thought, what better way than to share it with all my viewers and listeners. So this is the story of the sage and the scorpion. So when Samir was in his village, there's a river that flows, behind his village. So one day he was generally just sitting idling by the riverside, enjoying the peaceful sound of water flowing, birds chirping. These kind of experiences are a rarity in Pune and in other metros. We generally don't get these opportunities. So he was just soaking in all these wonderful experiences of nature, and his eyes fell on a monk who was sitting at a distance, also contemplating nature, maybe wondering at the Creator, right? And then he saw that from the tree something fell into the water. So instinctively the monk reached into the water, scooped up, and then yelled, "Ow!" And his hand turned, and that whatever had dropped from the tree fell down into the water again. Yeah, once again, the monk reached into the river water, scooped out the water and whatever had fallen in it. Once again, he yelped, "Ouch!" And instinctively his hand turned and the thing went again into the water. This guy, Samir, the Mr. Y, as we used to call him in college, couldn't resist wondering, why was this monk doing this? What exactly is happening? He made it his business to find out, walked over to the monk, bowed in greeting and said, "Do you mind if I sit beside you and ask you a few questions? I'm a little confused by what I have witnessed of your behavior in the last minute or so." The monk looked up at him with a very peaceful look on his face and a smile, and he gently said, "Sure, be my guest. Come, have a seat." So Samir sat down next to him and he said, "I saw something fall from the tree. You picked it out of the water and then you screamed and it fell back into the water again. Second time and third time again you repeated. If something there was causing you pain and instinctively screaming out, why would you repeat that? I'm confused, monk. Can you clarify and help me?" The monk nodded understandingly and he said, "Your questions are very valid, my friend. It's perfectly okay to be confused. A lot of people would be." So what fell from the tree was a scorpion. The moment I saw that a scorpion had fallen into the river, I knew I had to save. So by instinct, the savior in me scooped up the scorpion. But when I scooped it up, the scorpion stung me. And when I got stung, because of the pain reflex action, my hand turned and the scorpion once again fell. When I saw the scorpion falling, my basic nature of again saving prompted me to once again reach out, and so the story went a couple of times. Oh, Samir was still confused. He couldn't understand. One time, okay, I understand that you wanted to save the scorpion. Second time, knowing fully well that the scorpion is going to sting you because you had been stung once, why would you do it again? That is something I'm not able to understand. Care to clarify? So the monk nodded and he said, yeah, sure. So while it is my basic nature to reach out and save, protect anything and everything that I see, my basic fundamental nature is to do something to help and to save. But a scorpion, all of us know what is its basic nature is to sting anything and everything that comes into contact with the scorpion. Does that mean that the scorpion hated me? Or does that mean that the scorpion hates everybody around? No, I don't think scorpions are such evolved beings that they have these kind of humanly emotions like hate and love. The scorpion, out of self-defense, does what nature has taught it to do, and that is sting any kind of perceived threat. So when it senses a hand, it senses a perceived threat and stings. So I do what's my basic nature, and the scorpion does what the scorpion's basic nature is. None of us is putting our brains to it. We are purely acting on instinct. Then Samir nodded. A lot of curtains in his mind seemed to, open up. A lot of veils that were on his thoughts seemed to be clearing. And he looked at the river, sat contemplating for a few minutes, and then he said, monk, I have a lot to thank you for. I spent almost half my life living with so much anxiety and stress in so many relationships around me, because every time I did something to help someone, I did a good gesture because I wanted to reach out and help, I often did not get the kind of acknowledgement, appreciation or gratitude that I was expecting. And that made me agitated, that made me upset, and after a certain point of time, it even made me cynical. And I started to withdraw from my basic instinctive nature of helping people with this thing that, oh, you know what? I'm not even going to get one word of gratitude. I'm not going to get even a little bit of acknowledgement for doing good, so why should I waste my effort? But today, when I see you and I see what you repeatedly did to the scorpion, knowing fully well that every time you reach out and save the scorpion, it's going to sting you, but that didn't stop you. So I think that's where I went wrong in my understanding. I have been putting my expectations on people. The monk looked at him and smiled with wisdom, as if a teacher looks at a good student who's slowly figuring out what's the right answer. But he didn't prompt him, didn't interrupt Samir's chain of thought, allowed him to think out aloud and figure it out for himself, because that was the best way of learning when it comes from within. So Samir went on rambling for a while, trying more to explain to himself than to the monk, and then he realized that in most of his relationships that had ended on a sad note, a sour note, or on a note of anxiety was solely because of his own expectations, his own framework of what are the good things to do, what's good behavior, and what is good code of conduct between people. And that's not necessarily everybody else's framework. I live by my own rules, you live by yours, and so does everybody else. Is it not unfair on my part to impose my set of expectations and framework of good behavior onto others? And when Samir spoke to me about this bit, I think something opened up inside my mind as well. I too was living with a lot of stereotypes. You do good, you get a good word in return. You do good, you get back good. So expectation had become second nature even to me. You do good, you expect some sort of acknowledgement, some sort of appreciation, some sort of a payback. Okay, I did this for you, now it's time to give me back. I need this. So we almost start demanding goodness in return for goodness. So I said, "Yay, Samir, awesome man, what a wonderful story." And I think each one of you listening to it, somewhere, something would have connected. And with that hope, I leave you to figure out your own meaning and lessons and interpretations from this story. Do spend some time, sit back, listen to this 2-3 times, and think, are we not ourselves a victim of our own strained relationships and situations in life? If all of us were to just follow our basic nature, irrespective of the response of the scorpions and spiders that we help, I think it would benefit us more than the scorpions and the spiders. So that's it from me for today. I hope you enjoyed listening to the story of Samir, the monk, and the scorpion as much as I enjoyed it. And believe me, every time I recount it to friends, something more opens up for me, and I feel I'm a little more strengthened and a little better person, able to manage my relationships a little better. So with that, I'll sign off. You take care, be safe. Don't forget to like if this story resonates with you, share, and click that bell button to subscribe if you have not already subscribed. And I'd love to hear from you. Any experience similar to this you might have had, or any other thoughts that you might have. Happy to listen, happy to reply. Take care. See you next week with yet another story on Inspo Vibes with SK. Bye bye.